What was unclear now is clear, because the world, the universe, and truth are far bigger than the thoughts that you and I have accepted. It's not what you do, it's who you are. This moment right now is the single most important and beautiful moment of our life. Be in this moment, play in this moment, have this moment, live this moment. Want what's happening now. We begin to see that life is not so serious, that we're here to enjoy this experience of life through the tears, through the sadness, and through the fears. Every stream in life, every experience of life is leading me to the ocean of my existence. It's awesome stuff to live.
Oh, Buddha!
We don't need to do anything. There is no place else to be but where we are. Well, we've saved probably the most profound and maybe the most difficult for last in this series on the touch. We're going to be looking at the touch of love. What is love to you? And to everybody, it's a different thing. Most people define love or want love in their life based on pleasantries. You know, something pleasant and beautiful, something that makes them feel good, something that makes them feel needed or wanted or high emotionally. But one of the things I would like to share with you about this in my process is that love has nothing to do with any of the things that we want. In fact, let me be blunt with you. I got this insight while I was in India the last time. You have to want love more than wanting what you love. And too much of our life is spent wanting love the way we want it to be. In fact, we define love purely and simply on the basis of its pleasure and how it makes us feel. And maybe that's not love at all. Maybe that has to do with passion. We hear song after song, especially that country western stuff, which I am opposed to personally, it's not my taste, about how love breaks people's hearts and how it hurts. And so people have gotten the idea somehow that love is something beautiful and then it can be broken or lost. And I say to you, true love, real love, has nothing to do with passion and emotion, and it can never be lost. It's something that lives within us. The only way to God is not through scriptures and knowledge. Religion has taken the very aspect of God and love and just destroyed it in our country, made it a very heady trip. You're more impressed by those people who emotionally placate you, who emotionally please you, who can read scripture to you or memorize Bible scriptures in their heads and make it sound like they know what the heck they're talking about. And then you might think, well, that person knows what they're doing. They must be loving. These are people who set up morals and rules and reasons for you to do everything that you do, and people blindly follow them. Even some of my students say, I don't understand love. What does it look like? What does it look like? No one asks, what does it feel like? People are into their passions, not into their feelings. I looked up, I think you hear this, I looked up love in Webster's dictionary. I couldn't even memorize all of the definitions. Listen to some of these. Strong affection, sexual attraction, affection due to common interests, attraction based on admiration, unselfish concern for another. All of these, if you notice, are based on attractions. And finally, the last thing that was mentioned was God. I say to you, God is not found through reading, studying, or even watching my TV program. Far from that. It's found from the personal experience that we have as we grow towards love, as we are willing to not define love as a matter of emotion or passion, but as we are willing to maybe experience love through the process of our own life and who and what we really are. It's amazing to me how we will take love and make it such trivial things, like what I like, what I don't like, what is right, what is wrong. If there is a moral to this world, how come there is so much immorality? I hear ministers and teachers talk about what we need to believe in and how we need to act and how people should live. We've seen some of these ministers fall, haven't we? It's all a part of love. And it doesn't mean they were unloving, it just means they weren't clear about what love is. I've always looked at it this way: if God is love, and the only way to God is through love, God must be very tolerant. Love must be very tolerant. Look at all of the things, the atrocities that have happened in this world. World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, just the little skirmishes in the world. And God never has, so to speak, put his foot down and said, stop. Although Christianity would love to have you believe that that's what's going to happen, and yet it never happens. No, love isn't about some dictatorial behavior modification. It's not about some psychopathic philosophy that people have about what they want and what they believe in and what they need. People get desperate for love because they replace love with passion. And as long as I replace passion with love and love with passion, I will never have the insight, the meditativeness, the silence that will link me to what's really happening in love. Love is nothing that you want to define. Love is something that you and I need to experience. And like I said a little earlier, you have to want love more than wanting what it is that you say you love. We have to go for that which lives within us more than what pleases us or pleasures us. Even if it's gratifying our ego through our knowledge, or through our pride, or through our passions. This is the great temptation, to reduce love to what we want to believe it is instead of experiencing it for what it is. It's a beautiful world that we live in, and to reduce it to just nothing more than a physical experience would be a very sad thing for us to do in our own life. You know, I hear people in religion talk about all the moral sins that are going on in the world today. But probably the worst sin that we create as individuals has nothing to do with our morality. Where there is love, there needs to be no morality. Where there isn't love, morality has to exist. We have to be told what to do and what not to do. Have you ever considered the idea that intuitively, if you were in love, connected to love, there would be nothing to tell you what you should and should not do? Why would you? You would be in love and everything you would do would be loving. The problem with us is we have no interest in love. We have interest in our intellect, we have interest in our passions, but we have no interest in love. We like what makes us, quote, feel good emotionally, those highs, that gratification. But when we get right down to it, love isn't very popular. Because love means that I'd have to feel what's going on within me. Love means I'd have to process what's going on within me. I like this definition of love, and it's really not even a definition, but it really strikes home with me. If you want it, but you don't, if you can't understand it, yet you do, it must be love. Now, to me, that says it all, because it has nothing to do with what other people say. It's an atonement from something within us. The mind, the ego, the trained part of Gregory's persona doesn't like love because it's out of control, so to speak. It's not about right and wrong, good and bad. It's more about what's happening within me. Real love sets us free. Love that is about passion, reason, and emotion keeps us in bondage to what it is that we believe in and to institutions and to people. The people that you love, the institutions you believe in, you are bonded to them because they're a part of what you believe in possibly and what you want in your life, but not what's true. Because real truth has nothing at all to do with what we believe in. Real truth is founded on love. A love that goes past ego, pride, vanity. It has nothing to do with right and wrong, good and bad. It has to do with the truth of our life. This is a beautiful place to take a walk and feel the art of life and the art of love. Love is what makes the tide come in and the tide go out. It's not a law. It's not a morality. It's simply love. And real love is about the flow and the ebb of livingness that goes beyond what it is that we believe in and want. If what you want in your life is more important to you than love, then you will never know love in your life. And to me, the greatest tragedy of a person's life is not what can happen to us in the form of who goes into our life and who leaves it. That's a dime a dozen. It would be that you or I lived on this planet for 50, 60, 70 years, and we had no idea what love was. We had no idea what it meant, what it was about. And all we basically did was live our life for what we believed in and lived our life for what we wanted, controlling people, manipulating, and trying to live out what it is that we thought in our mind love is. That would be a tragedy. The touch of love is the whole process to God. And when we touch that love, we find not only God, but we find ourselves. It's unique and it's interesting. You and I are not separate from God. I believe Jesus said over 2,000 years ago, I and the Father are one. If that is true, it must be true for all of us at one time or another that we feel the love that is God. If we're going to feel it, it won't be through passion. It won't be through institutionalization of religious beliefs. It will be because we entered into the process. We went into it. We entered into a process of the heart that was far deeper than the things that we were taught and that we believe in. Love is for the courageous. You have to explore it from within yourself. It's not about books and it's not about lectures. It's about insight. It's about compassion. And I'm going to give you in the second half of Aspire some how-tos on this. But these are how-tos that you have to practice within yourself. They're not about right and wrong, good and bad. And they're not about philosophy and religion. It's about the process of how we live our life. You either live your life from what you feel or you live your life from what you've been taught. If you live your life from what you've been taught, you will always find yourself a bit shallow on the end of love and in your understanding of God and life. And we will always be moralizing and theorizing why things happened and why things didn't. But if you go the other end and feel your life through love, all of a sudden everything becomes clear. You live the Tao of your life very clearly and cleanly. Before you know it, life doesn't make sense. It's a journey, an adventure into God. Welcome back to the second half of Aspire. I want to give you some how-tos, some things to work on how to create the opportunity for love to happen in your life. You have to understand, this isn't about behavior modification. This is not about you changing philosophies or idealisms. This is about you doing some inner work and some inner practice, and at times it's going to be terribly uncomfortable to do this. But if you do it, I guarantee you there's going to be some changes in your life. The first thing you have to do is you have to be willing to scrap everything that you believe or want love to be in your life for a while. Just scrap it, junk it. Kind of go inside yourself and go, I know nothing about love. And instead of wanting gratification and passion and make me feel good, I'm going to let myself discover what love is rather than create what I want love to be. Now that's the first thing you got to do. If you're willing to do that much, then a lot can change. Because when I'm not defining love according to what makes me feel good, and what I like, I'm in a position to create the space that is necessary for love to happen. You have to create space. Love is happening between the notes of music, between the pauses and the gaps in words. Love is the sound of running water, of the wind going through the pine trees. And if you don't define love, you can sense what it is. And every so often people will get a sense of what love is, and they'll go, what was that? That feeling, that insight was love. And it has nothing to do with philosophy, gratification, behavior modification. Now, to achieve that, to kind of scrap what it is that we believe love is or should be, we have to go into the second thing. This is something that Jesus harped a lot on and spent a lot of time on, about our judgments. We have too many judgments about right and wrong, good and bad. People who are highly judgmental are always going to be highly critical. People who are highly critical will never be able to enter into the space that love exists inside. They stay on the periphery of love, judging, analyzing, being more right than other people, and then judging people from that point of view. The whole idea of intimidation has always worked in our society. Ministers, politicians all know how to reach you. They intimidate you. They make you feel insecure. They make you feel bad about yourself. Then they tell you they have the answers. And in doing so, they cause a tremendous amount of pain in your life, but always with your approval, because you're not feeling your life. You're not feeling what's going on within you. Therefore, you're susceptible to what it is they want you to be. The key to life is not doing what other people want you to do, but following your heart, even though your heart is saying to you, in essence, this way that you go, very few people travel. And you have to have the courage to travel those feelings. Be a light unto yourself, and then follow your heart. No matter where it may take you, no matter where it may take you, it will always be good. I'm reminded of the story of Buddha, his enlightenment. He took a very austere path in the beginning of his work, a path of tremendous rigidity in his practice. He didn't eat for days. He beat himself at one time. And finally, he began to understand that the middle path was the way. Not in beating himself up or destroying his body or tearing apart his psychology or his life, but that you had to eat everything in balance and live everything in balance. When he found this compassion, which is love, he said to his remaining disciples, look, I have found the way. And because he wasn't beating himself up and tearing his life apart, they didn't believe that he was on the path anymore, and they abandoned him. This is the way people are about love. They think if love is not giving them what they want and what they believe it should, then it isn't love anymore. I have a saying, love is none of the things people want. Love is everything that we are and nothing that we believe in. And that's just the way it is until we begin to work upon ourselves in a way in which allows us to be set free. Love is not the path for everyone, and yet you have to stay on the path to find it. That path is not philosophical, religious, or intellectual. That path is about breathing, meditation. It's about living our compassion. It's about living our forgiveness. It's about letting go of our judgmental ideas and idealisms. It's about allowing life to have its will and way within us, even though other people do not condone of this and look at it as maybe liberal or look at it as foolish. The spiritual path is for the divine fool, the one who is willing to follow what they feel and not what they aggrandize in emotion. It's for the individual who is working on some kind of quiet path and is not talking about it with people and making some big commotion about how much they love. They feel the love, they quietly follow it. And that changes everything in a person's life. Let the touch be the touch of love for you. If you want it, yet you don't. If you don't understand it, yet you do. It has to be love. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I know a lot of the concepts that I shared with you on the program probably sound radical to those of you who are very conservative in your viewpoints about life and love, but Love is not for conservative people. Conservative people never want to venture out any further than what it is they believe in their own sense of rightness. And if you're going to work on love, you're going to have to work on compassion and tolerance for the things inside yourself and in other people that you don't understand or don't even approve of. Love is not a matter of approval. It's a matter of compassion and forgiveness and understanding. I've had a lot of people in my life, I'm sure like you have in your life, who said they loved me at one time or another, but just couldn't tolerate maybe the things that they didn't like about maybe my personality or what I was doing that was a part of the trip of my love. I like what the Master said. What reward have you if you only love them that love you? You have none. You have to stretch your love beyond what it is that you believe in, what you condone, and what you consider right and wrong, good and bad. Love doesn't grow in confinement. Love grows when we let go, when we start opening ourselves up. And this means taking some radical viewpoints about compassion and love and forgiveness. And if that isn't in you to do that, if you just want to play it safe, live your life in a little small hole, that's your choice. But for those of you who have some daring and some courage inside and still want to make life an adventure, the opportunity for love is what it's all about. It's the opportunity to go beyond what it is that you believe in, to go into who you really are. I hope this series has touched you like it has touched us, to be able to offer to you maybe some alternative viewpoints about life, love, and the touch of life that you may not hear anywhere else. A lot of what we see on TV is nothing more than boiled down conservatism, and I'd like to offer to you something different, maybe refreshing, and maybe a little unique. I want to thank you for being with us on this very special series, The Touch. And I want to thank the city of Santa Barbara for opening up their hearts and their doors and their byways so we could come in and do some taping here and enjoy the scenery and the beauty of it. I want to thank the people that made this program possible. For all the people at the center who contributed their contributions and their loving donations, which made this program happen. They worked very hard and were very compassionate and backed me all the way. It meant the world to me, and I want to thank all of you. See you next time. Namaste. Be in this moment, play in this moment, have this moment, live this moment. Want what's happening now. We begin to see that life is not so serious, that we're here to enjoy this experience of life through the tears, through the sadness, and through the fears. Every stream in life, every experience of life is leading me to the ocean of my existence. It's awesome stuff to live.
Oh, Buddha!
We don't need to do anything. There is no place else to be but where we are.
To order a VHS copy of this program, please write to us or call 1-800-ASPIRE-2.